What's going on, everybody? RJ Ochoa here from SB Nation's bloggingtheboys.com. Hope all is well wherever you are. Hope you're happy, safe, healthy, and I promised you a very special treat today, and I have delivered. Dallas Cowboys tight end Jake Ferguson was kind enough, thanks to our friends at USAA, to sit down with me for about 10 minutes for a conversation. We talked obviously about the sun, about the Cowboys season, about the fact that no tight end in Dallas Cowboys franchise history has ever caught a touchdown against the Houston Texans, so I gave him a bit of a challenge. It was a great conversation that I think you're going to enjoy to a significant degree, but I do want to warn you, the connection was not the best. And so it is a bit frozen from a visual standpoint. The audio of the conversation is completely and totally uninterrupted. It is completely and totally fine. But every now and then you see a little bit of frozen nature the way a video can be when it's buffering or something like that. It's not your connection. It was just something that happens. Sometimes these things go this way. So my apologies. I'm not going to apologize on behalf of Jake Ferguson because it wasn't his fault. It was the internet's fault. So I wanted to say that I'm sorry, and I hope you enjoyed the conversation nonetheless. Here is Dallas Cowboys tight end Jake Ferguson. Very pleased not to be joined here at Blogging the Boys by the one and only, the dashing, the debonair, the biggest fan of the Miami Hurricanes, both sides of the Mississippi. It is Dallas Cowboys tight end Jake Ferguson. Jake, thanks so much for taking the time to join us.
Yeah, appreciate you having me.
Yeah, the U. I mean, you made some headlines. Did you know that you would? I mean, obviously, like everything about this is pretty, public information right now.
Yeah,
But I've never experienced like a game day fit sort of thing, so I feel like you had to know that Instagram would be popping at least.
I didn't expect it to be popping or going crazy like that, but I was just supporting my shorty, my woman. She's starting her season. She's starting to hit the hardwood. So I'm excited for her season. Excited to watch her, and yeah, had to support her.
That's awesome. Well, good job on you. Hopefully, you earned some points, so to speak. It's a bit of a tough time, but I'm really anxious to interview you because I've never gotten a chance to. And I want to start off with a challenge for you, if that's all right.
All right, let's do it.
So, my favorite Jake Ferguson time ever, and I think that this probably kind of stands to reason in your mind, was Thursday Night Football last year against Seattle. That's a different Jake Ferguson than I've ever seen. I don't know if you agree with that or not. If that makes sense, I feel like you went into a different space that night.
Yeah, I would say probably.
Okay, so that being said, you guys are on Monday Night Football this coming week. The Dallas Cowboys hosting the Houston Texans. Are you aware? Now, obviously, the Texans haven't been around the NFL forever. There has never been a touchdown scored by a tight end for the Dallas Cowboys against the Texans specifically. So you could be the first. Think about that.
Interesting. Very interesting. Okay.
I mean, so, I know you guys have a lot going on, but this should be number one on that list.
Yeah.
Exactly. You also were somewhat involved in a really big story this week. Although no one's really talking about Jake Ferguson. Everyone's talking about CD and the sun. So I want to understand your perspective on the sun in that moment, because it seemed like your back was to the sun on the play that everybody just can't seem to let go of right now.
Yeah, in my eyes, I should have caught that ball. I don't know if you can see. So you see the play. I'm running to the right. So if we're watching the play, I'm running to the right. Cooper's rolling out. I stop. I should keep running and pulling those two defenders to the front pylon. I need to keep running. That's my job. I don't. I stop. I turn around. I'm like, oh, scramble drill. Coop's going to throw it. He threw it, and I kind of saw it. I should have just caught it. I should have. The sun wasn't in my eyes. I wasn't looking at the sun. It wasn't anything. I knew that's his route. I know he's going to be back there. I know that's where he's showing up. That's his window. I should have just grabbed it.
That's
now,
interesting.
The other side, the sun comes up every day. The sun goes down every day. We know where it's going to be. We know it happens. It is what it is. In my eyes, I should have caught that ball.
It's funny that you start that by saying "in my eyes" because that's kind of like the the crux of the problem for so many people. But not that I would blame you. But when I saw the play unfold, I kind of thought you were the target initially, like kind of gut reaction, and it was so difficult to ascertain what exactly unfolded, obviously in the moment, and then the story becomes this massive sort of thing. You've played a lot of big time football. Can you name something that has been this big of a talking point that isn't about football, is in the way that the sun is? Because I'm sure it gets annoying for you all, But is there anything else you can think of, even in your time in Wisconsin, that was like, I can't believe we're talking about, the toilets at the stadium or something like that?
I'll give you a couple, honestly.
Okay.
The grass in Brazil this year, the first game, Philly versus Green
The
Bay?
Packers. Yeah.
Yeah, the grass, that game. Iowa's pink locker rooms. I played in that all 4 years, or I guess only 2 years. That didn't phase us. I mean, there's always going to be little things. There's always going to be something. There's always going to be, oh, the grass is too long, or
Right.
something. There's always something. And at the end of the day, you can either overcome it or you can let it be the thing that gets you. In my eyes, I think I should have caught that ball. Now, I wasn't standing where CD was standing. I wasn't in that area. Wasn't looking at it the way he was looking at it. But I know no one in the country is having this conversation if I just pluck that ball out of the air.
It's funny that you think it's limited to just the country when you started this off with Brazil. I'm sure there are Brazilians that are curious about the sun and geography and direction and all this stuff. I don't want to waste too much time, but I did find it interesting that you were sort of incidentally involved. You have been such a fan favorite for Dallas Cowboys fans in your time, and some of it is the kind of spirit or whatever it was that you embodied against Seattle. Where does that come from for you? I mean, just this kind of, you're a football guy through and through, kind of perfect for today's modern tight end.
Yeah. I think it always stems from my love for this game. I grew up in a football family. Right. The first toy I had was a football. The first game I played was football. Like my brother was throwing my head through the drywall when we were playing football in the basement, and I still ended up liking it. I have no idea how. But, I love this game so much. I still, to this day, I was just telling my girlfriend, I don't know what I'm going to do when I'm done. And, when I'm playing the game, there's, I feel like I'm a different person. I don't have to be. Violence is celebrated, and I love that. And it's the only place in the world where violence is celebrated, and it's often encouraged. And in that game, had some stuff going on, was a little peed off, and it just started building, and then had some more happen in the game. And then, I just saw red that whole game.
No, I mean, you're right. It's maybe the only arena in the world where you can react that way, and you can use it and you can channel it. I wasn't a wrestling fan growing up, but I did watch the Vince McMahon documentary recently and just kind of thought, this is cool. I mean, I kind of missed the boat on wrestling. Who knew that wrestling in the 90s was this popular thing that just kind of went over my head? And so you kind of embody from a personality standpoint, and it's authentic, which is really cool, which is why I think people buy into it. You say you don't know what you're going to do after it. You play for the Dallas Cowboys, so I'm very certain that you will have an opportunity or two. That's one of the primary benefits. And obviously, I have to ask you about this season. It hasn't gone the way that anybody would have wanted or would have wished or would have hoped. There's still 8 games left. How do you just kind of do you say, just day to day? Let's just kind of focus. I know that's a football cliche, but it's a cliche for a reason.
Yeah, I think it is day to day. But we've talked about it. There's 2 things you can do. You can quit, you can roll over, and you can just say it's over, or you can buckle down and get after it and start winning some games. And that's just exactly what we're going to do. The dudes in this locker room, that's what we're all about. There's fight in this team, and there's been teams that have been in this position. There's been teams that have been 3-6 and gone on to do great things. And we just got to get there. We got to execute every single day within our prep. Whatever we're doing, be clean on everything we're doing. Help out our QBs, make sure they're clean, make sure they're sound so they can come in and play lights out. And, just, win one game at a time.
It's good football team mentality. By the way, I did want to say, you talked about your brother throwing you through the drywall. You're a bit younger than I am. There's an incredible video you should YouTube of Chris Cooley diving through. I don't know if you've ever seen this. It was an old fantasy football commercial. They would do
the one where he's in the job site and he's turned around.
And he crashes his hand through the wall. That's what I'm like. That's you. You're like Chris Cooley embodied. There's another one. It's Lawrence Maroney. He dives through. It's like an SUV. And he rolls down the 2 windows, the driver's side and the passenger side, and dives through. So, you can get down a YouTube rabbit hole. I would be remiss if I didn't mention you're joining us on behalf of your partnership with USAA. Monday of this week was Veterans Day. You have an event, as I understand, scheduled for today. Tuesday is the day we're chatting. Tell me more about it, please.
Yeah, so partnered with USAA as well as the City of Arlington and Arlington Fire Department to come together to promote and raise awareness on staying safe in the community, staying safe while we're cooking this Thanksgiving, because we all know that deep frying a turkey or, even traditional ways of turkey on the stove or in the oven can be dangerous. And, we just wanted to bring awareness, do a demonstration with the fire department, a safe way to, deep fry turkey, and then an unsafe way to deep fry turkey. Unsafe way, 10 feet high flames, put it out with the fire extinguisher. I was in the full getup. It was awesome. And, just try to bring awareness and give some tips on, how to stay safe this Thanksgiving. And if anybody does have questions, USAA.com/fires has a lot more information and a lot more tips on staying safe this Thanksgiving.
That's very cool. Also, turkey, a very popular Christmas meal. So you can kind of double up the knowledge base. You know what I mean? I know some people do ham or whatever the case may be. Thanksgiving's a big day for you now in your professional life. So my last question is, it sucks a little. I'll be honest with you. I cover the team, and my son was born the night before Thanksgiving a few years ago. So my life is chaos around this time, not to the degree that yours is, but I always tell people when I'm asked, it's a unique thing. You just kind of learn to blend it with the holiday, and I imagine that's what you and your family have done as a result of it.
Exactly. Yep. We started in my rookie year trying to figure out what to do, and I've got a big family, so my mom wanted to come in, my dad wanted to come in, my cousins wanted to come in. We're playing. The Cowboys are playing on Thanksgiving. I said nobody come in, and I was like, all right, Dad, come in on the weekend. So he comes in now, and we just. We grub out all weekend, we celebrate, and then try to celebrate where I can with my family. Usually it's after Thanksgiving. I take that whole weekend. I say, start calling everybody, start calling my grandparents and say, happy Thanksgiving. I'm sorry, I was playing a game. But, that's been football for my whole life. It's always been Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving and Christmas are usually the toughest ones to do.
No, that's well understood, but a bad day here is better than a good day most other places. So, Jake, like I said, no tight end in Dallas Cowboys franchise history has ever caught a touchdown against the Texans. And if you don't do it, we got to wait a long time for another opportunity.
Don't do that. Don't say that. Bad juju. I'm doing it. All right.
My man, Jake Ferguson, on behalf of USAA, thanks so much, man. Health, wealth, and happiness to you the rest of the season, and obviously contract discussions potentially coming in the off season. We're rooting for you always.
Thank you. Appreciate you having me.